I'm sure at this point you've all heard the announcement of Apple's liquid glass design language. Flat design, neomorphism, glass morphism, design trends are like cat videos. Fun, impossible to avoid, but ultimately, they don't solve your actual problems. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Brandon, and I've spent over 20 years navigating the experience design world. My goal is to share practical, no-nonsense solutions to everyday UX challenges based on what I've learned along the way, without the fluff. Trends are the shiny objects of the design world.
I'd rather be shiny.
They're fun to look at, easy to get distracted by, and occasionally they even have some merit. But when it comes to UX, following trends blindly is like playing design whack-a-mole. Why, you ask? Because at their worst, trends are solutions desperately searching for problems. And at their best, they're fleeting, high maintenance, and often completely disconnected from what users actually need. For me, the biggest issue with trends is this. They generally clash with what good UX is fundamentally about. Let's dive in. Trends often feel like solutions in search of a problem. Oh no, the UI looks too usable. Quick, let's add some floating glass buttons. It's like those late night infomercials selling a device to slice a banana 3 different ways. Did you need it? No. Does it look cool? Sure. But great UX doesn't start with what looks cool. It starts with understanding real user problems. When you lead with a trend, you're essentially saying, this looks neat, now let's figure out where we're going to shove it into the design. And that's where trends fall apart. They're rarely user-centered. Imagine an enterprise app where users value consistency and predictability. If you throw in a trendy design overhaul, you could disrupt their workflow for no real benefit. Respecting the preferences and needs of your users is critical. Design should serve them, not the trend itself. Let's take another trip down memory lane. Skeuomorphism. Remember when apps looked like real-world objects? Buttons had shadows, textures mimicked leather or wood, and everything felt satisfyingly tactile. At the time, it was cutting edge. Now, it screams 2012 louder than this guy.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
Then came flat design, a clean, minimalist aesthetic that swept skeuomorphism under the rug. Suddenly, shadows and textures were out and flat shapes were in. But here's the problem. Trends are by nature temporary. Today's modern look is tomorrow's outdated relic. If your design is tied too closely to a trend, it's a ticking time bomb. Users might see the interface and think, oh, this app hasn't been updated in years, even if the functionality is flawless. Keeping up with trends often means committing to constant redesigns, which is exhausting for teams, costly for businesses, and confusing for users. Sure, digital design evolves, but core principles like hierarchy, accessibility, and consistency don't go out of style. Invest in research, not rhinestones for your interface. You want your design to age gracefully, like a fine wine, not like milk. Here's the thing about trends, they're not universal. What looks sleek and cutting edge on a Gen Z social app could be a total disaster for, say, a healthcare platform or a banking app. Your audience should define your design, not the trend of the moment. Imagine this, a doctor in the ER needing to swipe through a parallax animation or match 3 jewels before accessing a patient's vitals. It's ridiculous, right? Yet some designers chase trends without considering whether they fit the context or the audience. And here's the reality. Not every audience cares about trendy designs. Trends might look great on a portfolio site, but they often clash with your app's actual goals. Think about it. If you're designing an e-commerce app, the goal is to help users make a purchase quickly and easily. But a flashy or trendy UI can slow them down or confuse them, essentially sabotaging the very experience you're trying to create. Let's not forget the basics. Users care about getting things done, not how trendy your app looks while they're trying to do it. If a design choice interferes with functionality, it doesn't matter how modern or innovative it seems, they'll just be frustrated, not wowed. I'm sure you've heard it before, but at the end of the day, good UX is invisible. Trends, not so much. Don't be flashy for flashy's sake. I experienced this while playing Black Ops 6 during one of the events earlier in the year. While waiting between games to load, I'd switch over to the event to check on my progress. Rather than being able to see my progress right away, I'd have to wait for a flashy animation to go through every level of the community progress. Sometimes not even getting to see my progress before being pulled into the next game. It was super annoying and frustrating. I just wanted to see, did I reach the next level or not? How much did I have left to go? Trends can sometimes feel like a one-size-fits-all solution, but what works for one industry often doesn't translate to another. Banking apps, for example, require designs that convey trust and security, not playful, trendy visuals. Similarly, a B2B app focused on data visualization might find flashy animations or overly decorative elements distracting and counterproductive for users trying to analyze complex data sets. Here's the truth: context is king, and trends often fail to account for that. Great design meets users where they are, with solutions tailored to their specific needs, not recycled ideas that look cool but don't fit. And let's not sugarcoat it, chasing trends isn't innovation, it's imitation. Real innovation comes from focusing on your users and their needs, not on trying to keep up with the design flavor of the month. Great UX isn't about following the crowd, it's about leading with purpose. Trendy designs often bring unnecessary complexity, and let's be honest, developers hate them, users hate them, even your budget hates them. It's a lose-lose-lose situation. A complex, visually intricate layout might grab attention, but it's the headache for developers to build and maintain. And worse, it can confuse users. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should always take the easy way out. In fact, I'm a huge advocate for making things difficult on ourselves if it makes it easier for our users. But like everything, there needs to be a balance. Trends often tip the scales too far in the wrong direction. So am I saying you should ignore trends completely? Of course not. Trends can be a great source of inspiration, or at least a fun way to spark debate during team stand-ups. They can push boundaries, offer fresh perspectives, and occasionally solve real problems. But here's the thing, they should never drive your decisions. The best UX starts with understanding your users, defining their problems, and crafting solutions that actually work. If a trend fits naturally into that framework, awesome. If it doesn't, let it pass. Not every shiny object belongs in your toolbox. Here's a tip. If you're tempted by a trend, test it first. Seriously, run it past your users. Make sure it aligns with their needs and your goal. Otherwise, you're just setting money and possibly your reputation on fire. Remember, good UX is about solving problems, not impressing social media or chasing awards. Unless your life goal is to win most glass-morphic interface of 2025, in which case, good luck, I guess. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into why trends aren't all they're cracked up to be, give this video a like and hit the subscribe for more no-nonsense UX insights. And how about we share some war stories? Drop a comment about the worst trend you've ever seen or fallen for. No judgment, we've all been there. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.